Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job boards, including social networks, all with a single click. Screen, rate, and hire the right candidates fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/twit. And by Blue Apron, the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. See what's on the menu this week and get 3 meals free with your first purchase and free shipping by going to blueapron.com/allaboutandroid. And by Tracker, a coin-sized tracking device that pairs with your smartphone and keeps you from losing your most valued possessions. Visit thetracker.com right now and enter promo code AAA to save 20% off any order. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android. This is episode 325, recorded on Tuesday, July 11th, 2017, where we source the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Florence Fidget Spinner Ion.
Ah, man, that's totally your new middle name, Fidget Spinner. With a hyphen.
I'm sorry. You mean Florence Millennial Queen Ion. So,
you know what? I came out just in time, so might as well lean into it. What can I say?
You had to go there. You had to. It was your responsibility as a millennial to go there.
Hey, I got an American flag one, so I'm also patriotic. Thank you. I love my country.
Did you have that on the 4th of July, which is why we didn't have an episode last week, by the way. We didn't prepare you for that the week before, so sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. I hope you enjoyed.
Which was very weird. When I was on TNT last week, as I told you last Friday, I was thrown off all last week because my touch point is this tonight.
It's Tuesday.
It was very weird to be on a Tuesday and not be with you guys. And then Thursday, I was like, did I miss the show? I thought I forgot.
It's always weird. When you're so used to doing a weekly show or even a daily show with Tech News Today, I'm used to doing this, checking in on the tech news every single day. And when you take any sort of time off or a holiday happens, there's this, it totally messes with you. Now, from a scheduling standpoint of my week feels off balance now, but also to a content standpoint. I feel like when I miss a week of news for this show, catching up the next week is really difficult.
Well, and it's funny because I'm used to it for the holiday break, between Christmas and New Year's, we take a couple weeks off because everybody does and nothing's happening, right?
Totally.
But with this, we had, even though with 4th of July, there was still stuff happening and still stuff going on, right? I think some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight came up with it. Some stuff happened today, but stuff happened last week, and it just threw me off. I was just the whole rhythm was off for the whole week. So
we'd have been fine though if we just got ourselves fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Then you'd be fidgeting instead of worrying about what's on the news, man.
So you're not worrying about what's on the news?
Fidget live. I'm worrying, especially after today's news.
Oh boy.
But I find it really interesting that all of a sudden, before fidget spinners, we were not a society of people who needed to fidget, and now we are.
Now that we know.
It's so true. Ron, it's so true.
I wonder if the solution caused the problem sometimes.
Sometimes that's the way it works.
Well, isn't that how marketing works?
I guess
you sell them a solution to the problem, and then they go, "Oh, I needed something to play with during All About Android."
That's going to be like when we're talking about squeezable phones in a year.
Yep, everybody's going to have a squeezable phone. Everybody's going to have one. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today, including, the new Pixel XL, which Android Police has an exclusive. We'll get to that in a second. Panic detection in Android 7.1. I love that name. The missing Essential phone. Where is it? It's supposed to be out by now, apparently, according to the head guy, Andy Rubin. Red's Hydrogen 1, Bixby's English language challenges, and more, because there's more. But we're not getting to the more until we get to the news.
Well, there's no holiday this week, so put down that fidget spinner and listen to some Android news.
Well, the word spinner was made for that accent.
Spinner.
Right? Spinner.
Really was.
Spinner.
So I'm fairly certain we had you had a different story lined up for the lead show, but then this afternoon I sent you a very urgent email. I believe that was titled Pixel 2.
Should this be breaking news? Is it breaking enough? I mean, it was 4 hours ago, but
it was a couple hours.
Yeah, we might as well. Okay, that works. Vanilla breaking news every once in a while never hurt anybody.
There it is. Although I do like the nougat flavored breaking news, but anyway. What was the one before the nougat one? The Korean. What was that? The Korean one?
Marshmallow.
Yeah, marshmallow. That's what it was. Yeah, I love that one. Anyway, so breaking news. Our pal David Ruddock over at Android Police is pretty certain that they've got a reliable leak as for what the next generation Pixel XL phone is going to look like, codenamed Timon. This image in the rendering, which I gotta say, it looks like one of the better renderings I've seen in these. We've seen many of these renderings over the years. This one actually looks really, really good. But this image is a reconstruction based on their sources of what the Pixel XL will look like. LG is going to be the manufacturer this time, according to their source. 6-inch AMOLED display with rounded display corners, very minimal bezels. The fingerprint on the back, not encased by glass. The glass is moved to above it. So you see there, it's a little difference from the Pixel. It's still got the two-tone, the glass versus the bottom part. Yeah. And it will have a squeezable frame or squeezable bezel similar to the HTC U11.
Oh, how cute. You can squeeze it.
Oh, guys, I've got something to say about that. The thing is, I haven't even really been using a U11, so I'm just going off of what I've seen other people use.
Yeah, I haven't used the U11 either, and I really want to get my hands on it, quite literally. I want to give it a squeeze. I want to know, is this I don't know, is it gimmick or is it useful?
Is this love that I'm feeling? Yeah. Is this the love that I've been hoping for?
I've been searching for. Okay.
I mean, it's a good question. And also, is this the squeezing mechanism that we've wanted as consumers of smartphones? The first instance I saw the squeezing, it worked really well. And that's from people who were reviewing the phone. And that was from my own, 15 minutes that I had with the phone. But then I've been seeing some people who've been using it lately, and they've just been really frustrated by it. Or at least that's what was told to me. That's what I was told.
Apparently, Brian is trying to simulate the squeezing.
Is he?
I think that's what that is.
I thought he was fidgeting me.
Okay, I'll accept that.
I like the idea. I like the idea of the squeezable bezel as another touch point. You know, similar to the button encased under the glass, like on the Samsung Galaxy, right? I like these new kind of attempts to integrate, but it's got to work well. And if it doesn't work well, then it's going to be a source of frustration, which is not good. But of course, leave it to our other buddy, Ron Amadeo, over at Ars Technica. He tweeted that earlier, and I did see this when he tweeted it. So, Jason, I'm glad you included it here. There was a squeezy Google phone patent in 2013.
2013?
So, yeah. So clearly the squeezy phone concept has been around for at least 4 years, if not maybe longer, as people are talking about it. So, I'm tired of bland, same looking phones, so I'm glad that it's going to have some weird element that is different and new, and it's going to try to push the boundaries. Whether it works or not, we'll see.
But is this the first time in a while that we've seen Google stock phone? I can't call it Nexus because it's not, and I know it's a Pixel, and I know it's supposed to be a different thing. It's supposed to be marketed differently. But this is kind of out of the box, you guys. This isn't like a typical Google move to just do something super special like this. Or maybe
how I feel about this feature is I'm okay with it as long as they do some of the other things that were kind of like, why the heck was that missing from the first Pixel? Like some sort of water or dust protection. Resistance. Yeah. I feel like if this made the cut, but some of those other features didn't, I'm going to be a little bummed. Having said that, I really like the design of this. I think it looks really nice.
Well, so that was my. So moving away from the squeezable question, Android Police is very confident that they've got this right. In fact, I believe they gave this rumor a score of like an 8.5, right? So do you believe this? Like, do you believe these specs? Do you think that this rendering is going to be close to what we're going to see?
I've come to trust Android Police's confidence scale. I think that I love that they do that, and they explain exactly why they put this at 8 out of 10. They say we're exceptionally confident that the image represents the overall look and feel of the new smartphone. They said they docked it 2 points due to the fact that they aren't confident that the source material reflects the fully finalized design. But they're pretty certain that the feature set that they're showing off here is finalized. It's just, the actual design might change slightly leading up. So they seem incredibly confident, and they've got a good track record at this point on these things. So yeah, I trust them.
All right.
So
I don't know, do you?
Did they say? Sorry, Jason. I know you just asked a question, but did they say who the manufacturer was? I've been driving all day, so everything I heard.
It would be LG, which is kind of confirmation of what we've been hearing. Google also has some sort of a deal with LG for the screens, which, by the way, this screen would be an LG panel, so it kind of falls in line with the rumors.
And it's going to be OLED.
Yep, OLED.
Yep, AMOLED. Yep.
Oh, sorry, I got that wrong.
AMOLED.
Is that right?
AMOLED. That's what it says.
No, you're right. AMOLED.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe this is the first AMOLED display from LG. I want to say.
That
possibly.
I could not tell you. I do not.
I don't want to trip over that. Actually, I cannot confirm nor deny. I don't want to trip over that. But
I will say the front of this, in some ways, is very reminiscent to the Galaxy S8. Kind of the stretched.
Yes, I didn't want to say it.
The stretch factor. The bezels aren't quite as narrow as what you see on the S8, but
maybe a good thing.
Similar stretched out look on the front, and I don't think that the glass curves over the side. It kind of looks a little rounded based on this rendering, but from what they're saying here, there is no actual curve, off to the side.
It just looks like it hits the edge, and then there's a nice
and kind of curls off. Yeah,
bumper at the bowling alley.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you still got the thickness on the top and the bottom, right? So it's not as it's not as broad as the Essential design,
right?
The screen
From a bezel standpoint, yeah.
I
mean, I have right here. This is the the OnePlus 5. I suddenly blanked. And if you had this in person, you'd also see that the display has a slight rounding right here. Which isn't really curving over, but it's kind of protruded a little bit and then rounds down. And I think that's probably what you're going to see out of this Pixel based on what we're seeing.
That's a cool effect. I like that.
I like it, except for the fact that it protrudes the glass beyond anything on the frame. So if this lands face down, you're screwed. It's the thing that touches.
That's a OnePlus engineering discussion.
Yeah, I mean, that's this design approach. Some people don't care about the durability aspects of having a frame extend up and protect the glass. They just want a phone that looks really nice and pretty, and that's one way to do it. So, anyways, I like the design. I think it looks cool.
Time will tell. I mean, I guess this is officially kicking off the Google fall product announcement rumor mill.
Oh yeah, right? we've been doing that for a few weeks now.
True,
Save for the holiday. We're firmly in Rumorville for the next Pixel phones. And we'll start to hear from people that are give it a break on the Pixel devices. There are other phones out there. We've got a whole hardware section devoted to the other phones, so we promise you that.
It's nice to hear about other phones too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about panicking, Flo.
Oh my gosh, panicking.
And maybe use your fidget spinner while you talk about panic detection.
You're panicking. You're like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. My Android phone isn't doing what I want it to. So you're just repeatedly pressing the back button over and over and over again. You're like, abort, abort, abort. Sometimes it'll result in you throwing the phone at the wall, which is an anger issue, and you should get that checked out. But in other cases, sometimes that will actually lock up the phone, or at least that's the case with some people who have been experiencing that on Android. But now enter Android 7.1, which will include a panic detection mode that recognizes those frantic movements when you're just pressing the back button over and over again, and allows you to hit the home screen. So it effectively gives you an out of another out that you were using to get out of a bad interface situation.
Get out.
Just get out of that situation, man. Stop going back.
That's what they say. Just walk away.
Don't live in the past, man. Move forward.
Yeah, I mean, and this especially beneficial on rogue apps or apps that take over your phone and specifically try to prohibit you from leaving the app, and you're like, the thing I need to do is get away from this dang thing. So back, and it doesn't work.
Flight or fright, or right?
Flight or fright.
Yes. Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
This is I gotta admit, I saw this headline when this posted, just like in the scroll of headlines, and I was like, oh, so this is like a personal safety thing. Like if you're on the street and you're being mugged, you can hit a panic button, and then it's not that at all. And now I wonder if that should exist instead.
I mean, this show could take a dark turn very fast, and I could tell you about all the times I wish I had a panic button on my phone. It's a great idea.
It could be a good safety thing, a good safety measure. I don't know.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. So this is a nice little feature, though. That's cool.
Yeah, maybe we could repurpose the OnePlus 5's volume knob to be a panic mode. Be like, oh,
right, you can't do it with the Bixby button.
Yeah, redo the Bixby button. Nope, Samsung won't let you do that. No turning the Bixby button into a panic mode button. Definitely not. But no, this is admittedly probably not the biggest spec feature on a list that someone getting the next version of Android would go, oh, finally that's there. But nice to know that they're paying attention to that, and that's actually pretty useful for someone looking to protect themselves from a rogue app or whatever.
And as Android users, we always have to appreciate those little things, right? Because we've been using this operating system for so long. You start to get some headaches about little things, and I can tell you that happens to me basically once a week. I don't know what that says about my app using habits, but basically once a week.
You're installing a lot of the wrong apps, Flo.
You know what? There's something called an app arena. I'm dead fast, so give me a break, y'all.
Hey, we appreciate that you install those apps, Flo.
Yes.
Flo installs those apps, so you don't have to. Xiaomi struck a patent licensing deal with Nokia that I think could help in its quest to bring its handsets to markets outside of China and India, maybe to the U.S. at some point. Xiaomi is actually doing pretty well. They had a rough 2016, but now they're shipping 23.16 million phones. At least that's the number from Q2 of 2017. That's 70% more than the previous quarter and the most it's ever shipped in a single quarter. So Xiaomi's kind of turned it around there for a little while. It was looking a little for Xiaomi. Like they were doing so well for so long, and then competitors like Huawei were coming along and potentially challenging them in even their home market. But turning it back around, Flo, when do you think we're going to finally see Xiaomi make its way into the U.S. legitimately? Long time.
Oh, well,
legitimately.
you mean
Gotta put that in there.
I was going to say, by legitimately, do you mean through a carrier, which is really what's required here in the United States if you want any sort of commercial success? Or do you mean like through Amazon as an unlocked phone? Because I could see it come to Amazon, by the way, happy Prime Day, before I could see it coming to like a carrier or even to Best Buy, quite frankly.
Yeah, I would see that too. Yeah. And I would say that would actually qualify because, there are plenty of phones that's how they sell in the U.S. market, unlocked through Best Buy or Amazon or whatever. It's not the best approach, but it works.
It's true. Sorry, you got my mind going.
Okay.
But of course, Nokia, way more brand recognition in the United States. Already that foundation was laid back in the past. Granted, it didn't work out with the whole Windows thing, but that's because nobody was really using Windows phones. Sorry to those of you. So who knows? Maybe it could be like, hey, remember us? We brought that back your old phone. Now we're going to bring you a new smartphone with Snake.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you've been missing Snake.
It comes as a not removable app, and you can only disable it if you don't want it.
It comes with its own dedicated Snake button on the side.
Exactly.
When you want to launch the game.
It's a very popular game, but it's not just Snake 1, it's also Snake 2. So it's both
the
versions.
Anthology. Oh man, you're talking my language. This has success written all over it. We'll see if they make that happen. Ron, you got the email.
Yes, we got an email from David Benedict wrote in and said, I was listening to All About Android number 321 and heard the question about wanting to learn to code by the 14-year-old. I have purchased a few lessons from codelara.com, that's CODELARA.com, and have been quite pleased with how much is explained in the lessons. Unfortunately, right now, it appears that the lessons are around $100. But if he plans ahead and subscribes to their newsletter many times, especially around Christmas, I found you get a beginner to the Google Play Store courses for around $30.
Nice.
There are other sites too, like stackskills.com, which offer similar courses and similar discounts. Hopefully this will help him/her out. And thank you, David. Yeah, the number of resources that are out there for people who want to code, or I feel like they're increasing daily. Between Udemy and Treehouse and Stack Skills and CodeLara, there's so many great cool. There are apps that teach you how to code. It's like there's no reason not to learn. So very cool, good resources. Thank you, David.
I had never heard of CodeLara.
I've heard of CodeLara. Yeah,
nice. So. I mean, there's a lot of courses on here, and they definitely range in price. But I love the insight on this, where it's like, if you subscribe to the newsletter and you wait for this particular time, you're almost guaranteed to get this really great deal to get it. And, for people who are really watching what they spend but still want to do these things, that's valuable information. You might not know that exists. Do it the right way, and hey, it's actually somewhat within your reach. So I think that's great advice, David.
Good stuff.
Cool stuff. All right. So like I said, I promised you more hardware that had nothing to do with Pixel, and we will get there in a second. But first, let's thank the sponsor of today's episode. That is ZipRecruiter. If you have your own business, you may be hiring. Maybe you're not hiring right now, but when you are, you need to know where to post your job to find the best candidates. It's really not the easiest thing in the world. It's challenging to find awesome talent. And, the internet is filled with people who would be awesome in that position. The challenge, of course, is finding them, finding all of that great talent so that you can lift your business up by finding them and hiring them. And that's what ZipRecruiter is all about. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100+ job sites with just a click. So you do it all in a single click, super easy. Their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job better than anyone else. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. No juggling emails or calls to your office. You simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. It's all laid out for you, easy to manage. Just go in there and you get the job done. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. Right now, you can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/twit. That's ZipRecruiter.com/twit. And one more time, if you need it one more time, here you go. You can try for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/twit to check it out for yourself. And we thank ZipRecruiter for their continued support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right, it's time for the promised mega hardware block.
Super chill hardware bumper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Flo. Are you ready for the super chill non-news coming from the Essential camp?
Okay, this is not super chill news. This is actually very unchill news because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're missing an Essential phone. See, a little over 30 days ago, around May 30th, 31st.
Recently over 30 days ago at this point.
I've
noticed. A little over 30 days ago.
I've noticed.
Andy Rubin had said that we would be seeing the Essential phone materializing for those of us who were interested in it to purchase it. But unfortunately, it seems as though we have yet to see a phone materialize out of thin air. There is no word from Essential on the status of the phone, when it will come, why it's delayed. Pre-orders are still in effect. So, hey, if you still got some time to go get that pre-order, maybe they're still going to make your phone. Sprint will also carry the phone, of course, as you remember. Some are thinking maybe that's why there's a little bit of a delay, and maybe that's why, it's a little hush-hush right now. But for the most part, it's delayed.
Here's my two thoughts. I think that the silence on them is a bit deafening, right? Which is not a good look. But I understand the silence if they don't have anything to say. And my guess is that it's got to be FCC or government regulation. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these checks that you need to do to get approval for, and I bet you that's taking longer than they had intended. That's my guess. More so that than the delay with Sprint.
Is the person who does the smartphone agreement process still in the government?
That's a good question. They could not. That person might not even have been hired yet. Yeah. Let's avoid the politics. But
okay, you're right. Okay. Anyway, I don't think it's vaporware of any sort. So anybody who's saying that, hush hush, little ones.
We're like merely 11 days overdue. That's not quite vaporware territory.
I mean, they made a big deal about it shipping within 30 days, right? And by the way, while we're on the topic, I still don't have a confirmation of shipping or a price of the green color phone, because I check that every couple of days to see if it still just says coming soon. You can only reserve black and white. You can't reserve the other two colors yet. But they made a big deal about it was going to be available in 30 days. Maybe in hindsight, they shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. No, go back in time and maybe phrase it to sometime this summer or whatever. Right. Yeah, like probably they would have not lost anything by keeping it a little bit more open. The challenge is once you give a deadline like that, then that becomes the story if and when it doesn't happen. And there are a million reasons why it might not happen leading up to it. If you're a new maker of phones entering the marketplace, there's a lot of challenges there. But Andy Rubin is Andy Rubin. And kind of figure he'd know that by already. Yep. But hey, it's not easy. It's not easy. Not easy.
It's not easy. Making hardware is not easy. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised it's delayed at all.
But that doesn't dampen anticipation for it. I know, Ron, you're probably still pretty fired up about it.
I'm really curious about it. I would like to. I definitely am coming to the end of my life with the Nextbit Robin. Not because the phone is bad, or a lot of people are asking me if it's worth it to buy for the $120 or $30 it's available now. Yeah, it's just because I've had it for about a year and a half, and I've run it to the ground. So like I'm ready for a new phone, and it's like, all right, well, am I gonna get the Pixel? I was totally gonna get the Pixel, but the Essential has me piqued. My curiosity piqued. I'd like to see someone get their hands on it and actually give a real hands-on kind of point of view of it before I put $700 down on it. And then the question is, do I wait for the Pixel 2? Like I'm in that weird zone now. So.
Yeah, and and I mean, you're probably going to spend more on the Pixel. I would imagine they're going to keep the Pixel price a little bit higher than what you're going to get out of the Essential. But based on what you saw today, do you like what you've seen from the Pixel in comparison to the Essential?
Well, I'm not going to make any decisions based on rumors, Jason.
Oh, okay, all right, that's smart of you.
It is smart.
No, but rumor to Essential, like comparing that rumor to Essential, I probably would go Essential.
Yeah. All right. So. Cool stuff. Well, what about a $25 Android computer instead? No, they're not.
That's pretty neat.
Sign me up.
That's pretty cool.
Don't get a Pixel or an Essential phone. Get this Raspberry Pi rival. If $35 for Raspberry Pi is just too steep for your blood for an Android computer, how about a $25 ROC 64 media board computer? Has 4K video output, so it has that 4K output built in, USB 3.0, and yes, like we're saying here, support for Android if you want to install Android on there and have that be the OS of choice. Gigabit Ethernet support built in. That's better than the Raspberry Pi, though no built-in Wi-Fi, so you probably have to get an extra plug for one of the USB ports to support Wi-Fi. But it starts at $25 for 1 gig of RAM, 1 gig of RAM. 2 gigs would be $35, 4 gigs $45, and that also has a quad-core ARM Cortex-A53 system on a chip, which might be the same as the Raspberry Pi, or I'm not really sure.
You can not beat those prices, that's for sure.
I know, this whole category is awesome.
I love it. Yeah,
ships cool. July 31st. I'm wondering, so Brian, you are the maker, and you have to know at this point that when we bring up things like this, we're going to throw a question at you.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this particular hardware? Why would you get this over a Raspberry Pi 3? Like, how does it differentiate itself?
My reason for getting it over Raspberry Pi would be playing with Android OS. I could see this maybe replacing like a Chromecast kind of thing.
Okay.
Like your own DIY home entertainment portal.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe there'd be some games that you'd want to play on a TV, because I could definitely see this being able to run all the ROMs and things like I do on
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog on all the MAME machines that I've made with Raspberry Pi.
Well, and the Raspberry Pi doesn't have any memory options, right? It's locked into a single configuration of memory. Is that right?
As far as like RAM?
Yeah, as RAM. So here you have the ability to scale it up to 4 gigs of RAM, which is better than what you get on a Raspberry Pi by 3 gigs, right?
It
I think
is.
it's like a gig.
And I feel like that's probably necessary for certain things that you're going to be running with Android versus like the Linux that you use on Raspberry Pi. So yeah, that's pretty cool that there's expandability. No Wi-Fi kind of bugs me, but I mean, if I was using something like this, hardwiring isn't that big of a deal either. So
right, you'd work around it. Cool. All right, so if that's what your Android computer is going to be, well, then there you go. If any of you happen to get this, email us aaa@twit.tv. Let us know what you do with it, and if you put Android on it. Like I'm also still trying to figure out like why I need an Android computer. Like I just don't know if I need that.
You have one.
Fun.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true. I guess it's an Android computer.
And it would be fun. It would be a fun project to build that Android-powered home entertainment system, kind of box, like Brian mentioned, like that'd be a fun project. But do you need that? I don't know.
Nobody needs.
Well, if you either on one end you need a 4K Android computer for just $25, or if you have lots of money to throw around, like I don't know, $1,200, you could get the Red smartphone with a holographic display.
Holographic display.
This is a little bit of news that broke last week when we weren't doing the show, but so the Red Hydrogen 1 is a phone by the company that makes those amazing super high-end 4K cameras. It's offering a holographic display, which is a 5.7-inch display using nanotechnology that can switch, and I quote, seamlessly between traditional 2D content, holographic multi-view content, 3D content, and interactive games. So it's like a 3DS display. It's now important to note that you might immediately think this sounds a lot like the Amazon Fire Phone. It is not lenticular like the Fire Phone was, so it's not doing that at all. What caught my eye is that it's modular capable, right? So it's got the ability to expand, and it will interplay with the Red Cinema cameras somehow. I don't know. It comes with a USB-C, micro SD, and a headphone jack. They got that right. And it's got a rugged design, and you can get the titanium version for about $1,595. Or an aluminum version for about $1,195, and it's going to ship early next year, 2018. So yeah, Red is making a phone, and it looks to be bananas.
So this is literally just the Red version of those Polaroid cameras with the Android built in.
Well, that's a good question. So Red is known for its cameras. I wonder how much of that kind of camera. Like us for our cameras, so have a phone with our camera in it. I don't know if this is an upgraded camera, or if this phone works with our cameras in unique ways. You know what I mean?
And so it sounds like it's only for movie makers.
Well, I don't know. Who is this for? Yeah, that's a really great question.
If somebody whose their entire ecosystem is built around filmmaking with Red cameras, it sounds like this phone could plug into that ecosystem really well with the modular aspect, with the like that video showed them plugging in the data stores and things like that. Like I could see somebody who like it lives and breathes Red cameras, that this would complement that for some reason.
Why holographic display?
I don't know, because they can. I mean, when Red came out, we were like, why does this camera exist? And the answer was because they can. And now it's it's one of the dominant cameras in filmmaking. Like I forget what the exact specs was, but the first Red camera, I remember sitting there in the office at Revision 3 talking to Mauricio about it, and we're like, this camera is crazy, right? Like it was super expensive and all stuff like that. But then cost came down and slowly got adopted, and now Red is like one of the go-to cameras in the field. I'm not saying they're doing that here with phones, but clearly someone at Red was like, hey, I got a crazy idea, and they ran with it, which I encourage.
Yeah.
So. And they'll make it modular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is another, that's another concept that I I would be really curious if this just happens to quietly like take off in some little film community where we have all of, a couple of these dozen people who are using this phone and it's modular and it hooks into the camera that they use to make work.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it,
working in something like this.
At that price point, you don't need mass adoption, right? If you're selling a phone at $1,600 a pop, you can sell less of them and have it be a success.
Maybe the whole point of this camera is that the smartphone is that it just integrates into the camera. Maybe that's why there's not a lot of talk about what lens is on the phone, because that doesn't really matter as much as the modularity and the whole
and the connectivity into the Red ecosystem.
Yeah.
Well, what might give a little insight is the second article that we have associated with this, which is over at Circuit Breaker on The Verge. They broke down the patent application for the Hydrogen One, and you could see, lots and lots of applications of how a phone plugs into a filmmaking environment, right? Right. And and so it's really kind of interesting to see that that's the kind of thinking. And if you scroll left and right over that graphic, Brian, it does a wipe. See?
Oh yeah.
So you see here, you've got 3 phones with pogo or a phone with modular elements that all collapse into a lens and make a camera. Like, that's really interesting.
What?
Yeah. See. So this is the phone attached to the camera module and a battery module.
Wow, this is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen a lot of, and then further down from that, you see a the phone with grips and viewfinders and all this sort of stuff. There's so many kind of like accessory companies that build these cages and these rigs and these grips to turn iPhones into video cameras and taking SLRs and things like that. So it's really just Red taking that approach and applying what they know from filmmaking, but instead of having the driver be that red box that is the the DSLR or whatever the camera thing, it's being driven by your phone. That's really interesting. And Flo, I think you might be right. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this take off in the filmmaking community.
It's literally a transformer phone. Not only because it transforms, because it will probably be used for the next whatever Transformers movie is going to be made again.
Well, I only hope that doesn't happen, because that movie series needs to be stopped.
Yeah, because we'll all be watching the fruits of that labor. I just don't understand why you need your phone. Why you need to buy a phone to do this?
Why not?
Camera equipment is already so modular and built for a certain purpose. Why make
on social media?
I don't know. Yeah. Is that enough to justify $1,500?
Easily share projects. I don't know. There's so many applications.
I appreciate that it exists, and I always, but I'm just scratching my head on it kind of came out of left field, and I'm trying to understand.
You have every reason to. It really did come out of left field, which is why it's okay, it's modular. It's meant for a specific subset of user. How is this gonna change things? Is it gonna change anything?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Red is a great brand. It's very well known for what it does. So you have to give them credit for, and also for putting out a design that looks very different. It's super. Yep. It looks very rugged. It has a very kind of machine feel to it, which will certainly appeal to a certain group of people as well. So,
and it could be, and that's actually a great point in the chat room, that this could be a great entry point for aspiring filmmakers to get into the Red ecosystem. This could be the starter. You're going to USC Film School and you get your Red camera phone and you start building the components, and by the time you graduate, then you're ready for the real camera and all this sort of stuff. It could be a easy way to ease into the Red world for filmmakers. So
yeah.
Oh God! So all the kids at the Francis Ford Coppola building at San Francisco State University are going to start carrying these phones.
Yep.
And then they're all going to get together in their user group and put all the phones together and make one giant lens out of it.
There goes our tuition money, everyone. Did we put it to good use?
We got a Red phone. Yay. All right, Flo, you got the next one. Actually, this harkens back to what you were talking about earlier.
It really does harken back to what I was talking about, because I was saying, I mean, Nokia should just sell its stuff on Amazon. And would you look at that? They are. They're going to sell it on Amazon. They've got a Nokia 6, which is now available in the U.S. market via Amazon for the first time. Let's list off the specs really quick here. So we've got octa-core Snapdragon 430, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, micro SD expansion slot, 5.5-inch HD display, an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, which is pretty good for the selfies and the video chats, and then a 19-megapixel rear-facing camera, which is questionable considering the price tag is $179. And that's including the ads on the lock screen. Now, this phone does have Android 7.1 Nougat on it, which is very nice. Really appreciate that, Nokia, because if you are going to put a phone out here, like, don't try and pass off, something. Or you can get it for $229 with no ads. Still the current version of Android. So that's a Nokia phone for you. And it works with AT&T and T-Mobile. And, of course, their little MVNO subsets. So if you're on any of those, you could probably use it if you want. Get it with ads. It's only $180. That's a burner phone. And you can get it with Prime.
Yeah, and apparently it's already selling pretty well, or at least it's appearing well on the Amazon market. It's at the top.
What's the rating?
It's at the top. I don't have their exact rating, but it's at the top of the best-selling new phones, new releases in that
I'm most
department.
curious.
So.
I love, the Amazon reviews are their own novels. So I love to read the Amazon reviews on the phones and like to see, because those are the people that are telling you what's up.
Great phone to use and look at for even better unlocked price.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Day one owner. That's one thing you have to look for, though, right? Like, is reviews written by someone who literally just got it, because everybody loves opening up a brand new phone and starting to use it. But I mean, this is making news because for the longest time, Nokia, was just Windows phones, and you couldn't get any Android devices on Nokia, and people wanted to know what that would be like. And now we're starting to kind of get those Nokia phones in the U.S. I think they have plans to bring over their other, HMD has plans to bring over the other Nokia devices to the U.S. at some point that they've released. I think they're the 5 and the 4 or something like that. But we don't have a time table on that. But
I really want to know where they are sustaining themselves right now, like exactly which regions are sustaining them, where they still have like top tier brand recognition. I'm very curious about this, and also because I don't have time to travel the world and figure this out on my own.
As much as we would love to travel the world.
Please, as much as I would love to, Nokia, I want to know very much so how things are going.
Reach out to us, Nokia. I guess that's all we're asking. Come on, we haven't heard from you in a while. Let's talk, okay? All right, let's take a break before we get into some app news and thank the sponsor of today's episode. That's Blue Apron. I'm already hungry, but I'm about to get even hungrier because Blue Apron knows what I like. Cooking together builds strong family bonds, and Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone while supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, and building a community of home chefs. And Blue Apron does this right. They end up sending you a box. It comes to your front doorstep. It's all packaged well, all the ingredients that you need to construct, to put together, basically put together piece by piece, an entire meal or 2 or 3 for you and your family. And it's awesome. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients. Everything's all measured out and portioned out for you to make delicious home-cooked meals in 40 minutes or less. It does not take very long to make these meals. There's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them, and you can customize your recipes every week as you prefer based on your dietary preferences. You can also choose from a variety of new recipes every week on your own, actually manage that yourself, or you can let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. And just a couple of ideas of upcoming meals: seared chicken and creamy pasta salad with summer squash and sweet peppers, creamy shrimp rolls with quick pickles and sweet potato wedges. There's fresh basil fettuccine pasta with sweet corn and Cubanelle pepper, and chili butter steaks with Parmesan potatoes and spinach. awesome meals right there. You can get that all in the box, and then just, there's your recipes for the week. Blue Apron has established partnerships with over 150 local farms, fisheries, and ranchers across the United States. By shipping the exact amount for each ingredient that's required for recipe, Blue Apron is reducing food waste, and their freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right for you. Check out this week's menu and get 3 meals free with your first purchase and free shipping. All you have to do is go to blueapron.com/allaboutandroid, and you'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. Don't wait. Go to blueapron.com/allaboutandroid to check it out for yourself. Blue Apron's a better way to cook. It's time for you to go from hungry to full. Maybe that should be their new slogan. No, don't listen to me. blueapron.com/allaboutandroid. Check it out for yourself. All right, it's time for some apps. Let's do it. And they're really, as lately, it's just app news is just few and far between these days. I really feel like it's hard to come up with stuff for apps.
Do you think we're at peak apps?
I don't know if we're at peak apps. I just think that all the things that could be it takes a lot more to wow people now.
Yeah, has the innovation innovated? Do we, because it's funny because now I'm going off script here, but I tweeted late last night in a fit of drunken rage that I hate the new Hulu app design.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're correct, and I said you are correct about this, sir.
Right. Yeah, and it's literally. But I wasn't drunk. I was just a joke. It's literally nearly unusable. And as far as I can tell, they're sacrificing usability for thin sans serif fonts and pastel colors. And it was what I thought was really interesting was a lot of the reaction I had to that tweet was people complaining about the Apple TV interface, which has now been redesigned also to look more pretty but not very usable. And so I think what's interesting is that you're right. I think that we've lost the wow factor. Apps are doing what they can do, and now people are just tinkering with stuff to make it look different.
Yeah.
Girl, can I just tell you, Spotify is one of those apps too, okay?
Yep,
While
absolutely.
we're on the topic, it is incredibly difficult to use Spotify, and I realize that the state of California says that you cannot have your phone in your hand, but sometimes I need to skip the darn song because I should have taken it off my shuffle playlist and I didn't, and I just want to skip it and I can't because it takes too many darn clicks to get into the main interface so I can get to the actual window where I can just scroll through it. Yeah. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to me.
It's a real problem. I think it's a real problem. I think that we've got some great best practices that exist amongst apps and things like that, but then nobody's going to leave their app alone. Everyone's always iterating, trying to make it better and make changes and things like that. And literally, I just thought of this, and I logged into a major bank. In America, there are a handful of major banking institutions, right? And I'm not going to say which one, but this major banking institution still has 2 hamburger menus, one on the left, one on the right, 2 hamburger buttons on their app.
Huh? I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing.
I know who you're talking about because I have the same bank.
It has on the upper left, there's a 3-line hamburger menu button, and on the upper right, there's the 3-dot hamburger button menu. And it's ridiculous that the one on the upper right only opens up to log off. That's all it does.
Does it pull out a whole sidebar to do that?
Yes, it pulls out a whole sidebar.
And the whole sidebar is just one big log off button.
Yeah. Now, funnily enough, I know someone who works at that bank in their innovative design group, and I was like, dude, what the hell?
What are you doing here?
And he just nodded. He's like, yeah, I know.
So do something about it.
Oh, God, I'm sorry, I took it away.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm happy we went there.
Well, now we can talk about apps that we do like using.
Yeah, well,
right, Jason? That's what we're going to say about this next app.
Like apps I want to use more of and more often, maybe on a different device.
That would be nice. Google has been saying for a little while, originally teased back in February by Nick Fox from Google, and then in May saying that Allo for the desktop would be coming sometime soon. They rarely give a glimpse into the future of the product like that. But with this, they knew people really want this, and so they're saying it's coming. Well, Google's head of product for Allo and Duo said on Twitter that a web version for Allo might actually be, quote, a few more weeks. So that could really mean anything, but still a few more weeks is a few, which tells me not many more, and I'm looking forward to it because I feel like they've
been saying this since at least like Christmas last year.
Yeah, about February is when they first kind of teased that this was going to happen. So we're following the breadcrumbs right now, and hope maybe someday we'll find the bread. Is that what you end up finding at the end of the trail?
Maybe someday I won't miss your message by 3 hours because my phone is upstairs. And our Allo chat is going bonkers, and I'm nowhere near my phone.
I'm still stuck on following the breadcrumbs to the bread.
To find the bread. Sorry, I don't know the end of that thing, but there you go. Apparently, it's bread. I would like to.
But I want an Allo desktop client. I have a WhatsApp desktop client. I would use Allo more often if I had a desktop client.
Yeah, I would too. I would too. I'm slowly moving over to the point where I think I'm going to convince one of the only other people I actually message with on a regular basis, which is my wife, to move from Hangouts to Allo. I use Allo with you guys. I literally only use Allo with the two of you and my niece who's on an iPad and doesn't have a phone. Yeah. So, I'm going to move one more person over, and then I've done my job. All right, Flo, you have the next one.
Well, speaking of doing your job, unfortunately, Bixby's having a trouble doing its job because, it's struggling to learn English for the English-speaking market. So, of course, if it doesn't understand the context of what you're saying, how's it supposed to help you, right? With all the context.
True.
So apparently, the Korea Herald says that Samsung is struggling to get Bixby perfected for this English-speaking market due to a lack of accumulation of big data. Say that in big, bold letters and started by quotes. Does this mean that there aren't enough beta testers, or does it just mean that, I don't know, Bixby needs to go back to English class because it's that's a possibility. You have to go read some Sylvia Plath all over again.
But Jesus.
It might be, listen, you got to know all facets of the human race, okay? I'm just saying. AI like this does require a lot of big data. So it's very understandable why it requires such a pool to pull from. I myself, in my own experience with Bixby, have seen where it struggles sometimes to understand what I'm saying. Just perfectly normal words. I will say words sometimes clearly, and it will just completely miss the mark. I don't know if that's the engine, or if maybe the microphone is picking up a sound that is muffling me, or maybe I don't move my tongue the right way when I say certain words. I don't know.
Yeah,
not communicating this.
you know it's not working when you're saying it like a robot, because that's how you sometimes have to talk to a robot in order for it to be sure to understand you, and it still doesn't work.
No. I haven't had that experience with Bixby. I've actually had better conversations with Bixby than I have with this little Google thing behind me. It's much more conversational, but unfortunately you won't be able to try it out anytime soon if you're on a GS8, unless you're part of the beta, because even though the Wall Street Journal said that it should be released in July, the Wall Street Journal said that it is unlikely to be released in July.
Right.
So, which is this month, and of which we only have 3 weeks left. So it takes more than 3 weeks to learn English. You want to ask my parents. They're immigrants.
Okay. We'll take your word for it.
Sorry.
I don't even think Samsung made any promises as far as this getting out by the end. But by the end of July, not the end of the world. But still, it's just, man, this has been such a stunted rollout.
But it's gonna be worth it. I think it's personally gonna be worth it. I see so much potential.
There's the Samsung fangirl coming out, yeah. I don't have any proof that this is gonna be worth it.
Well, because you haven't used it. I have it right here. Hi, Bixby.
Right, no, but every report and everything that we talked about Bixby is how it's stumbling and tripping and falling over itself.
Well,
yeah, but it has so much
Google's
potential.
Any better? Come on, guys. Like Google Assistant, like you'll ask it something and it'll go, "I'm sorry, I don't understand the command. Can you say it in a completely different way? Because I was only programmed to say it in 3 ways." That's how I feel about that.
Pretty good luck with Assistant.
You guys, listen. I work from home. I'm alone all day. All I have around me are virtual assistants.
You get bored with one, you talk to the other.
Talk to them, okay? I know who listens and who doesn't. I have Alexa on a phone here too, so there's a lot of yapping happening here.
It's like you have a virtual assistant party at all times. That's pretty cool.
I was gonna suggest that you might want to check out a co-working space, but it sounds like you're already in one with all those virtual assistants.
Now
it's like
get them to talk to each other. How do I do that?
Yes.
It's like God. Can I tell you that the other day Alexa microwaved fish in the microwave and it smelled so bad in the office, but then the Google Assistant then left the window open and it was the office was just a nightmare.
This is my daily life, y'all.
They should know not to microwave fish. That's the worst.
Yeah, I know. Oh, the worst.
Ron, you got the email.
Should we do some emails? Yes. Yeah. I like all these emails. We got an email from Mike Welch who wrote in and says, it's been a few months now since Ron was talking about how excited he was about YouTube TV. I live in a market that probably won't get it for a while, but I was wondering if Ron is still happy with it. It seems to be missing a few key channels compared to similar services. However, not being able to skip commercials on recorded shows is pretty much a deal breaker for me. What are your thoughts, Ron, after a few months?
I have it too, by the way.
Oh, you do?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I let it go.
Well, because of Ron.
Let it go. So here's the thing. I still have it. I am a paying subscriber, and but it is not the perfect panacea that I hoped for. Right? When previously I was acquiring my television shows through means that I'll let you read between the lines. And then I was like, oh, well, this is great because I can go like, I don't want cable. This can give me legitimacy and this can allow me to be able, to watch my shows or whatever. And so it was towards the end of the TV season and me and my girlfriend were like, let's watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, great. So we turned on Grey's Anatomy and we started watching it on YouTube TV. And it plugged along. Oh, by the way, I should mention sidebar. They did fix that Chromecast issue I had when it first launched. Now Chromecast works great on my TV, no problems. Everything's thumbs up. So we're watching Grey's Anatomy, and a commercial break starts. And I'm like, all right, commercial is fine. I get it. Like my assumption is that YouTube TV is just tapping into whatever setup and agreements ABC has established within their own streaming. And so there are local ads and things like that have to run. Makes sense. Okay, fine. That first commercial break had 6 ads.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
There were 4 more commercial breaks in the hour-long show, maybe 3 more, maybe 4 total. And at that point, I was like, "Oh, forget this!" Right?
Remember commercials, Ron? Remember how freaking long they are?
Yes, it was, and you can't skip them.
That's the thing, right? Yeah.
So, now, flip side of the coin. I don't have cable. I've been too lazy to hook up an HD antenna, but now I have all my local stations. The reason why I had an HD antenna was to watch the Oscars, was to watch whatever event kind of programming that happens. Now I can do that with YouTube TV. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's one thing on the plus side. It does solve a problem that I need to have solved. I did pay extra to sign up for Showtime because I want to watch Twin Peaks. Every week, every Sunday night at 9 o'clock, I go to YouTube TV and I turn on Twin Peaks on Showtime. No commercials because it's Showtime. Works beautifully. That's fantastic. A couple of weeks ago, I was on the road. I was in Austin, Texas. I needed to watch Twin Peaks on Showtime on Sunday night. Opened up my laptop, go into YouTube TV. I could watch Twin Peaks, no problem. The mobility aspect, like if you're somebody who's away from home a lot, and like being able to watch on my phone, on my laptop, wherever, worked great for me. So it's not a perfect service, but it does cross off a couple of boxes that I need crossed off. The question will be when we roll around to this fall, if I can tolerate the commercials or if I go back to my unlawful ways. So we'll see. But for now, I'm sticking with it.
I agree with Ron, but I have to say, Mike, if you need help choosing, Sling TV is also another viable solution. It's a tiny bit more expensive because you're paying if you want to get some of the channels that are available on YouTube TV, but if you need a rundown of that, I did a whole YouTube TV versus Sling TV at Android Central. So
So which one, in your opinion, wins, Flo? If you up against the wall, you got to pick one. Which one do you go with?
Well, I stayed with YouTube TV because it was the most cost-efficient solution for me for the channels that I wanted. And I was very straightforward that the channels that I wanted, because I love garbage TV, are E and Bravo. And those are two channels I can get for $35 on YouTube TV, which is a lot better than, listen, guys, this is my escape. I want my trash TV, and I get it for you with YouTube TV. Oh, and The Simpsons. I always have The Simpsons on FX and on demand. And that's the background noise in my house.
I will give YouTube TV credit in that the DVR function and the recording and all that sort of stuff. Like, I subscribe to all my shows and I can go back and I can watch anything. It does stink that even on the DVR aspect that it's still serving ads on shows on the networks and things like that. But the thing is, I get it. Like, I understand the business requirements of that. It's not necessarily something I'm excited about or something I might stick with, but I understand why it's there. So I'm not pounding sand over that. But yeah, I don't know. I like the interface. I like the way it works. I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
I can watch the Oscars in February on it.
Exactly. You can watch all like the network TV stuff that you've been missing, and
which I'm gonna watch ads during anyway. Like, that's the thing, because I'm watching an event live. I'm gonna see ads regardless. Oh, and the other thing also is that when I'm in the mornings when I'm gone, my girlfriend sometimes likes to put on live with Regis and Kathy Lee or whatever her name is, Kelly Ripa.
Yeah,
so
Kathy Lee left a long time ago. She's with Hoda, and they get drunk on some other channel.
And so did Regis, as I get notified of recently. But she likes the show, and so if that lets her watch it, then that's good. So, yeah.
I really think that YouTube TV needs to co-opt what Flo said a little bit ago as their slogan. It would be, I want my trash TV, and I get it on YouTube TV.
It's true.
Good slogan.
Yeah.
All my trash is there. All the botched marathons.
Oh God, Flo, you're so much better than that.
I know. I'm sorry. I should have not said this on the air. Usually, I save this stuff for the pre-show, and now it's forever recorded.
Yep, forever recorded. Yep.
While we're on the topic of trash TV and being better than that, I will make the public admission that after 18 seasons for the past 17 years, this is the first year I am not watching Big Brother this summer. That I drew the line, no trash TV in my life. I have better things to do with my time. I am not watching Big Brother this year. So,
not even
good for you.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh man, all this reality, it hurts. It hurts my brain.
We're better than it. We're better than that. So. All right, well, let's thank a sponsor before we get into the arena. We want to thank Tracker for sponsoring this episode of All About Android. And listen, when you go to leave the house, there's always that ritual. I do it myself. I look for my wallet. I grab my bag. I look for my headphones. I look for my keys, and inevitably one of them is missing. I'm going to look in all the obvious places. To leave on the couch, in the kitchen, and in my jacket pocket, and then start turning up cushions on the sofa. Start looking in the bathroom, even in the fridge, which has happened. And it's a pain in the butt to find your lost items. You got to get creative in how you look for them. In the fridge, you open up that peanut butter jar, hoping your keys will be in there. But 8 years ago, Tracker changed everything when they released their first tracking device, and now they've done it again with the all-new Tracker Pixel. With the Tracker Pixel, you'll never need to worry about losing your things again. Tracker Pixel is the lightest Bluetooth tracking device on the market. You place the Tracker Pixel on whatever you tend to lose, your keys, your wallets, even your pet. It's small enough to fit on your smallest items. When you misplace an item that has a Tracker Pixel attached, you can use your smartphone, and a 90 decibel alert will help you find it in seconds. It even has powerful LED lights so you can find your items in the dark. If you lose your phone, just press the button on your Tracker Pixel and your phone rings, even if it's on silent, which is amazing. You can even locate your item if it's miles away, because get this, and this is the cool part of Tracker. Every Tracker user is part of the largest crowd locate network in the world. So as long as your device is somewhere, it's probably near a Tracker user and you can find it. Add Tracker's 30-day money-back guarantee means you truly have nothing to lose. So go to thetracker.com and enter promo code AAA to save 20% off any order. That's TheTracker.com, promo code AAA for 20% off. Thetracker.com, promo code AAA. We thank them for their support and helping me not lose my keys, because I would be lost without them.
You'd be lost,
thank you, Tracker.
And now you're found. Thank you, Tracker. All right, it's time for the arena.
So many enter, but only one lives.
Android Arena.
Let's see here. Last week we had an arena, as we do not last week, 2 weeks ago. As we do every time. We do it every time. That's why we're here. And my goodness, Flo, not hot dog, ran away with it. 37% of the vote. Music Link came in second at 25%. Sensoroid came in third place at 19%. And Ryder came in fourth place at 18%.
I've been playing with this fidget spinner under the desk, by the way, the entire show.
Oh, jeez.
I am becoming everything I hate.
Well, so with that win, congratulations, Flo. You're climbing out of the basement, although you're still in the basement. Through 26 weeks of the show, Flo is in last place with 64 points. The guests are tied with Jason for second and third place with 68 points. And I'm still sitting pretty in first place with 75 points. I feel like I got this nice cushion. I can come in last for like a couple of weeks and still be okay.
You had to say sitting pretty, didn't you?
Yep.
Don't get too comfortable, Ron. You never know what's going to happen.
So does this mean I go first?
This means you're up first. Yep.
All right, cool. So I found this really neat little app that I really like the concept of, and it's called Letter Run. And basically what it is that one of the trends that have emerged in the past couple of years have been newsletters. You know, kind of folks who are curating content, you know, putting together links. You know, there's a whole bunch of newsletters that I subscribe to that I get in my inbox every day. What Letter Run does is says, what if we can collapse newsletters into an app so that there's always something to read, something of interest? So they've got a really nice, simple material design approach to it. And within here, they've got a directory of a bunch of newsletters that are available. So if you go to search or explore, if you go to explore, there's a whole bunch of categories. And so we can go down, look in tech, right? And there's a bunch of newsletters that have different, kind of focuses because they're all curated by different people. And so you can check them out. You can tap on one to load it up. So we can load Future Crunch there, down at the bottom, or CSS tricks. And you can scroll up and you can see, okay, cool. If I'm into CSS tricks might be something I might want to check out. I can subscribe to it. Now, every time when you open up the app, you see the latest news, the latest posts from that newsletter, which are right there, which is very, very cool. I think Letter Run is, if you're somebody who commutes on a train or kind of in a position where you're looking for things to read, you want to stay on top of things. But I like, as opposed to having to read, scroll through websites and things like that, I like the idea of curation and people who are experts in different kind of topics, helping you say, this is what's interesting. And this is, if you're into design, reading that, or, music or entertainment or anything really. I think what would make Letter Run amazing is that if it was able to partner with like, Next Draft or The Skim or, these other great, kind of like big, email newsletters that have emerged. It's not quite there yet, but the infrastructure is definitely built there to support that. So Letter Run, nice material design, a lot of good information. If you're looking for, if you want to absorb informations via, kind of a subscription newsletter model, Letter Run might be the way to go. So there it is. Pretty simple.
Nice.
Free in the Google Play Store.
Letter Run, LETTERUN, all one word. And you can find that for yourself. Awesome stuff. Okay, mine, we kind of went back and forth in pre-show because it was like, man, has this been in the arena before? Because I swear when I came across the app, I was like, it must have been.
Your app was one of the first apps that I downloaded on my very first Android phone.
Seriously?
I was just gonna say, this app was one of the very first apps that we reviewed back on my first app review show when I was on Revision 3, a show called App Judgment. It was like maybe episode 3, I think. So like when I saw this, I was like, it threw some flags for me, but then I looked it up and we have not covered it on the show. So, and I'm sure they've made updates in the last 8 years. So
well, Jason, you might be mistaken in that assumption, but nonetheless, its utility speaks for itself. It's called RunP. And this is for movie theater lovers, theater goers who want to go see a new movie and they want to know the very best moment in that movie to take a break and go to the bathroom. Because you go to a movie and when you got to go. And you don't necessarily always know when the right time to go is. You might walk out and suddenly the main character gets off. And when you get back in the seat, you're like, what the heck just happened? I don't even know where I am anymore.
And let's give the Run P people credit. What they lack in design, they make up for genius and concept, because it absolutely it delivers on the value proposition for sure.
Transformers is 2.5 hours. That's what it says right there. Okay, tap on that. Of course it is.
All right, so how
am I supposed to hold it for 2.5 hours of?
No one's going to actually watch Transformers, so we can do some spoilers here.
Exactly.
So what you get is a little layout, right? And you can change this if you want it a little bigger or smaller for some reason.
That's actually really good, because if somebody, a lot of people who have to go to the bathroom a lot might be older. So making the font bigger, that's a key feature for the older crowd.
Got it. Accessibility. That's an accessibility feature.
Exactly.
Right there. Yep. All right. So this says, I would recommend that you use the second or third P time. The first is short and has a fair bit of detail. Movie length, 2 hours, 29 minutes. You get this timer. So this timer, I believe you set this when the movie begins, and it will kind of be a running tally while you go along, right? You wait for the Paramount Pictures thing to go. You start the timer.
It tells you when.
And
that's cool.
And it kind of cues you as you go along. And then what you see down here are the 3 different P break options. So this one, the very first one, which, by the way, you were advised up at the top to avoid if you can. 38 minutes in, it's a 3-minute break, and it happens when the scientist says, "No, it's not a threat. A threat might kill you. This will kill you in 3 days." So when you hear that, you know it's time to go to the bathroom. All right.
What kind of awful movie is this?
Now,
it's the worst. It's literally. By the way, this movie might be one of the worst movies ever made. Just saying.
Now, this depends on where you fall in the do I use my phone while I go to the bathroom continuum. If you're going to the bathroom and you're sitting down, or, for someone who just doesn't mind standing up and doing this, I suppose there's that. You can tap this while you're in there doing your business, and it will tell you what's happening while you're doing your thing.
Much cool.
And then when you go back, you pick up where you left off, and you haven't missed a single thing.
Wait, so how much longer are the last 2 bay breaks? So the last one is 4 minutes and the last one is 5 minutes.
The second one comes 1 hour, 1 minute in. It lasts for 4 minutes. You have this little time scale here, so it tells you in a little graphical sense, very brief graphical sense, where in the movie it happens. So you get these little points throughout the course of the movie, because you might not need to go to the bathroom at the beginning, but you do at the end. There you go, hour 34 minutes. You get a 5-minute break. There's not much happening in that 5 minutes of Transformers movie. I know that's hard to understand, but there's not much happening here. And it tells you why that's a good time to take a break, and gives you all the information you actually need.
So what I want to know is, if the movie is really good, does that mean that there are no pee breaks?
That's a really great question.
No, there's always a pee break. Like, listen, the Lord of the Rings movies were great, but every time those elves start talking, that's when you can get up and go to the bathroom, because it just does not matter.
So true.
Right?
So
true. Not only is it like 30 minutes, but it just doesn't matter. So,
they're so pretty to look at.
Sure. No, but we're all joking aside. I mean, like, everybody, like physical requirements are different for folks, different people, but also mothers, and elderly and things like that. Your bladder goes after a while. So this is a nice little tool to have to let you know when it's safe to get up and leave the movie. I'm the type that holds it in till the very end. And luckily I can still do that, but I'm sure someday I'll need this. So.
Yes, install this so you have it for that time that you
just
need
in case,
because things are going to change, Ron. By the way, that's not all. It also tells you whether there's anything during or after the credits.
Nice.
It tells you about how long the credits run. And if you happen to arrive late for a movie, in many of these, it'll give you a synopsis of the first 3 minutes of the movie so that you can kind of catch up to speed if you miss a few minutes. So, hey, you know what?
DVD alert.
What's that?
People get DVD alert. I forget that people still buy DVDs.
Oh, yeah. That's true. So there you go. Run P, all one word. See, Pirates of the Caribbean has 3 different breaks. Anyways, there you go. Run P. You get the picture. And Flo, I have your app installed. I will show it off while you talk about it.
All right. Well, my app is called Awesome Icons. So I really like the Pixel launcher. I am very happy with it, but I was not very happy with the icons that came with the Pixel, just sort of the default effect that goes on there. And I mean, customizing your phone is fun. Now, I don't want a different launcher, so I've been kind of praying for this sort of app to just appear out of nowhere. And I found it through social media, I guess. Awesome Icons lets you change each of the individual icons on your home screen. Now, the way that it changes the icons is it's not as seamless as other launcher apps that'll do it for you, but it's a great alternative. So what you can do, Jason, as you are demoing this for our lovely video watchers, is did you install another icon pack?
I installed a few. Yeah, you can get to them through the app up here. There's some icon packs installed. Let's see here.
Yes, so they'll show you what's installed.
Okay, why are none of them? God, I downloaded a couple. Oh,
so here's the other issue is that not everything is completely compatible with Awesome Icons. But I did find an icon pack that works nicely. Called Lines, and that just sort of gives you these nice white outlined icons that you can change individually. You can also use your own icon, your own images. So actually, Jason, if you want to go back to the
Lines free icon pack, is that it?
Yeah, grab that real quick.
I'll install that in the background. We'll just let that do its thing.
So here, we'll list off some of the features. So you can change each of the individual icons the way it changes it for you and it places it on the home screen. So it won't be living in the app drawer. It'll just be on the home screen. But if you just want it for aesthetics, that's fine. You can create your own customized icons from your own images if you want. Let's say you have like maybe a bookmark for a messaging thread with like your significant other. You can make the icon like a picture of you two canoodling or whatever. You don't need a third-party launcher. No root is required for this. It doesn't impact any of your performance or battery life. You can customize the label for your icon or remove it completely if you don't want. You'll have full access to every icon from the icon pack that you've downloaded, so you don't have to choose just the icon that was labeled the same name as the icon you came from. And it lets you use any of the icon packs interchangeably if you want.
So I install, oh man, I just fell for an ad. Dang it.
Oh, are you in the Lines app?
Now I'm in the Lines app, yeah, to install this.
Get out of that app.
Okay, all right. So this is the part where I get lost. All right, so I downloaded it, but where is it here so that I can bring it in?
Did you refresh the app?
No. How do I do that?
Force quit it and relaunch it.
And then it scans.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all I've done is download Lines there, but there's no. There you go. Hey, what do you know?
Yay,
there's all my. Sorry, I got a little reflection there. All right. So I want that one for Android.
Yeah. So you can choose whatever icon you want for. It's kind of I'm going to say honestly, it can be a bit of a process, but if you really want to customize your home screen, this is how you can do it. And you don't have to root. You don't have to install a different launcher. And you can use whatever icon packs in the Play Store. Doesn't work with all launchers, but it works with the Pixel launcher, works with the Samsung launcher thus far.
There's the Android Pay icons that I just made. Looking good.
Awesome icons.
Those are awesome icons.
Yeah, I have a cute little like themed home screen now on my phone. You know, I just kind of work on it on the weekends. You know, it's a work in progress on my home screen. So I don't want to show it to all of you yet.
There's my Gmail. Nice.
Yeah, and then you just drag it wherever you need it.
Right. Put it down there, lay it all out. Make sure it looks to your choosing. Awesome icons for doing everything you need icon related.
Consider donating to the developer, because the last time there was an app that existed like this in the Play Store, it disappeared and it didn't have like functionality. And I imagine if I could have thrown some money at the developer, I don't know.
You could have changed things.
Throw money at your developer when you can, okay? Developers are people too.
Yeah. Developers like money too, you know.
Yes.
twit.to/AAA poll 325. Twit.to or twit.to, but it's TO. Twit.to/AAA AAA poll 325 to place your vote for your favorite app. Is it Run P? Is it Let It Run or Awesome Icons? Brian thinks it's Run P.
I saw that coming. Saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah.
You know what? Brian is totally that guy though that is like, oh, excuse me, sorry, during the like climax of the movie, and you're like, bro,
dude, why didn't you go to the bathroom at that second break? The 4 minutes in the middle of Transformers when you went and saw Transformers at the movie theater, Brian.
I would never see Transformers at the movie theater.
It's true. This is a fact, not a fiction.
I actually did see the first Transformers movie in the theater.
It was the one with Shia?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I was at that point we didn't know really what was going on.
We knew. I knew going into that movie it was going to be a train wreck. Oh,
I knew it probably wasn't going to be good, but I had hope because I was such a Transformers fan as a kid. And after that movie, I was like, okay, this obviously, not going to work for me.
Although I will say that of all the Transformers movies that have been out, if you watch the trailer to this one, it did have my curiosity peaked. You got Transformers, you got medieval knights, you got it seemed to be just insane enough to actually be interesting, but unfortunately, it turns out it's still awful.
Yeah, big surprise. All right, so you have the action plan, twit.to/AAA poll 325, and we'll check in on that next week. And that, as they say, as we say sometimes at this point of the show, is that. Flo, what's up with you? What's the news? What's the status, yo? Tell me.
Well, the status is that I am now a freelancer.
What?
So you can find me at various outlets around the internet soon.
Okay.
For now, you can find me at FlorenceIron.com is my website. But you can also find me at AndroidCentral.com. I'm still penning a column for them, so you will be seeing me a couple times a week there. And you'll also now hear me on the Relay FM podcast, Material podcast, where I am now also a co-host along with friends of the show, Andy Anatko and Russell Ivanovich.
Fantastic. Talking all the Google.
Lots of Google talking, and I'll pop up other places and I'll check in with y'all.
Nice.
Keep privy to me on Twitter too, and all that flow. Don't forget my snaps and the Snapchats, while they still exist, because their IPO isn't doing very well.
Yeah, they're doing okay. Folks, don't worry. Flo's not going anywhere on All About Android.
Yes,
she's just
I'm not. I'm here. We're kind of like. We're blood brothers now.
Yeah, it's true. We did that whole thing where we
it gets weird. It got weird quickly, guys.
It did.
Russell, by the way, Russell Ivanovic is going to be on the
next
episode.
Week?
Is it next week? Yeah, it is next week. Yep. So he'll be on next week. I will not be. I will be traveling. But anyways, you guys have fun.
We will.
Check in.
It'll be another nervous wreck of a show with me and Flo trying to not blow it. So I'm just glad I don't have to sit in that chair anymore. Now I can be in the monitor and watch from 3,000 miles away.
You guys will be great. You'll have Russell as backup also. So,
yeah,
because he does a show too. So.
Yeah, he's great.
Ron, what's the status for you? What kind of big earth-shattering news are you going to announce right now?
I don't know about big earth-shattering news, but you can go to, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at RonXO, where I'm talking nonsense. But you can go check out my other podcast. Head over to ifanboy.com. That's ifanboy.com, where we're talking about comic books every week, as well as comic book movies. And I think 2 down on our feed, our second latest show is Spider-Man Homecoming, the latest comic book movie that just came out this past weekend. And it only took 6 tries and 17 years, but we finally got a great Spider-Man movie on our hands. So if you've seen Spider-Man, you want to hear us talk about it and break it down, go listen to that over at ifanboy.com. And of course, I mentioned earlier, I watch Twin Peaks on Showtime on YouTube TV, and then I jump on a podcast with Tom Merritt called The Damn Fine Podcast, where we talk about Twin Peaks. You can go to damnfinepodcast.com and check that out. We've got, geez, Brian, we've only got 9 episodes to go. We're in the home stretch.
Yeah, some questions are finally being answered.
Big episode this past Sunday. It was a big one. So yeah, go to damnfinepodcast.com. Hear what me and Tom thought about it, and just have fun, have a good time all the time.
Nice.
There you go.
That's Brian's motto.
Oh, yeah.
Have a
Good times
time.
all the times. No moderation. Just have fun all the time.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, right?
What's up, Brian?
Not much for me. Padre's still on his little silent retreat, so we have a bunch of pre-recorded know-how episodes coming up. We're going to be starting a LED clock project that Padre 3D printed is going to be coming up on the next few weeks here, so tune in for that. And otherwise, you can just follow me at cranky_hippo.
Nice, and you shall. You can find me at jasonhowell.net, yellowgoldmusic.com. New music in the works. I'm hoping sometime in the next couple of months. I keep saying that, but I'm really getting close at this point, so I'm really happy. I feel the final stretch coming on. So I promise, after all of these years of me giving that URL and us hearing from people in email and saying, I just always thought that was a joke that Jason made music. No, I actually do, and there will be something, and sometime soon. But that is it for this week. Voicemails. If you want to leave your voicemail, please do. 347-SHOW-AAA. You can send us email or video mail at AAA@twit.tv. We have a Twitter account. You can tweet us at Android Show. Find us on Reddit. It's twitaaa.reddit.com. Show notes and past episodes at twit.tv/AAA. You can also find our shows on YouTube, iTunes, Pocket Casts, everywhere. And you can catch us live every Tuesday starting sometime around 5:30 p.m. Pacific at twit.tv/live, because live is where it's at. That is it for this week. Have a great week, y'all, and we'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android. Bye, everybody.